generally that I speak very fast. Please be mindful that whenever you feel that I'm going very fast, please stop me then and there, because it's I have this bad habit of just going through fast. So I'll just first of all take the review of what we discussed yesterday, and then I will give you some ample practice of what we learned and how we can just work with these kind of issues that we have. Just give me a second. Okay, so we started functions yesterday, and in functions we saw that function is a subprogram or a smaller portion of code that can be called invoked by another program. So we write function once, and we do what? We try to call those functions with invoke those functions. And by invoking those functions means that we want to just write them once and want to use them as many times as we want. And that really gives us understanding that, okay, we can write a code that is capable of doing something, and we can just call it again and again. So as I gave you a little scenario over here, if I need to add two numbers multiple times in a program, I might write the same code to add two numbers multiple times. But by using functions, we can write once the code to add two numbers and call it as many times more. And today we'll see the examples. Then we talked about something called an expression, and I felt that it's an important issue to discuss. And we say that on the either side of equality, we have expressions. Like we have two expressions. We have one expression on the left side, one expression on the right side. An expression is something that evaluates to a value. That value might be a number, that value might be a true or false, that value might be a variable value. Like again, it will be evaluated to a value, and by itself, it does not represent anything. Rather, it evaluates to a value, and that is called an expression. And I gave one example when I had a discussion with one of the student, and I said that, okay, is this x equal 5 expression? So here they says yes. Why? Because x equal 5 also generates a true or a false. If x is 5, of course, it will generate a true, or x is not 5, it will generate a false. Then we talked about functions are the first class members of JavaScript, and we will actually write multiple functions, and together they will make up a JS program. And today we'll just write a lot of programs, a lot of functions, just to have that understanding. So we have two types of functions, as in most of the languages. Some functions that we will create by ourselves, they are called UDFs, user-defined functions. And there are certain functions that are predefined by the programmer, and they are in the libraries of the language, and we can use them. And very simply speaking, console.log, we know one function that we have been using quite a lot. So it's a predefined function, and we have seen console.error, that there are lots of functions related to that one. So they were all predefined. But we started talking about user-defined functions yesterday. And I told you that user-defined functions are themselves of three categories in JavaScript. And we had a little discussion on that. Rather, we had a discussion on that, and someone asked a question when I will prefer the expression over declaration. So I told you that one, but let's discuss it quickly. Function declarations, when we use the function keyword followed by the name of the function and parameter list in the parentheses, followed by the body of the function. So it is called a function expression. And we saw that this basically is called a function expression. No operation function, which is not doing anything at all, but it has a function keyword, name of the function, parenthesis list, and the body. Same way as square function, which takes one parameter, something like that. So this is called function declaration when you declare a function. And as I said, today I'll give you practice of all these. Function expressions, when we define a variable and assign it an anonymous function to it. So we define a variable, like I said, let no operation 1 equal to function. An anonymous function, we don't use the function name over here. Rather, this no-op, the variable name, it becomes the reference of the function. And it is called function expression. We had a long discussion that because the function is lying on the either side of equal, it's on the right side of equal. That's why it is called a function used as an expression. We then saw the same form of square 1, and we saw that square 1 is equal to function n and return n into n. So it's a function that is defined as a function expression. And then the two parameter function. And someone asked a question, and I told you that in JavaScript, we use functions as normal variables. which is very handy in some of the situations, some of the particular situations that becomes very, very handy. And we'll talk about that one a lot. And you remember when I saw that if you check the type of add one, it was coming out as a function object keyword. So it's a function is an object data type or a function data type by itself. It says it. Then we talked about an arrow function. And I told you that it's an advanced form of functions, and we will be mostly using this arrow function a lot. Arrow function has a very simple syntax. Just take away the function keyword, parenthesis, arrow symbol, and the curly brackets. This is the like no operation version of that one. Then square 2 is equal to n. And this was a very good one. And I showed you that if there is only one return statement, so if a arrow function is returning only one value and one statement is there, you can just write down, take out the return, take out this everything, take out the function keyword, and this will be like this. And then we talked about this add to. So we had two values and they were also returning same value, and we have just, checked that one. After that, we started discussion on something very important. Parameters and arguments, how functions handle parameters and arguments in JavaScript. So we saw that, okay, we have a console.log a, we had defined this function, and we saw that JavaScript is so friendly that we have defined a function that can accept one parameter, but we can pass it one parameter, or we can pass it multiple parameters, or we can pass it no parameter. It's the flexibility of JavaScript. JavaScript is so friendly that it allows us to do so. But you remember that it gives different behavior in a way that the first argument, it takes it at A and console log that. But again, if you have multiple argument, it just, simply ignores that. Don't worry about that. And just show the first one as an A, and we get the output over there. And if you don't pass anything, anyone can complete my sentence. What does it pass if you don't pass anything? It passes the undefined. And undefined is received, and just to show that undefined A. Riley, thank you very much. So built-in objects. So there is a built-in object in JavaScript which is called arguments. It's a very interesting one, and we'll use that today. Each function has an implicit arguments variable available to it, which is an array-like object containing all the arguments passed to the function. And we can use arguments.length to obtain the actual number of arguments. It's interesting. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you very much. So it's interesting that we can have an arguments, which is a default one. Okay, man, no problem. So it's a default one. And if you see here function mylog, and I can catch arguments.length, and we saw that it really creates an array of the arguments. And what we can do is that it will just, accept any number of arguments, and it will just give me the length of the arguments. And it typically gives us, you remember, it will give for this one, it will give 2 argument length. And if you have printed out only arguments of 2, arguments of 0, remember, so it will just give that argument. So it generates the first argument, second argument, third argument in the same way. Then we talked another about a program where we were just, receiving an unknown number of arguments, and we're calculating the length and calculating their sum. And we saw that this was our program. So I'll just, show you the last program to have a recap of the yesterday. And I'll just, run that one, and I'll show you, because that will give us, okay, that where we stop. Because today I'll just talk about some of the more interesting and important things in the functions. So let's inspect that one. Let's go to console, and we remember that it was showing us 0, 3, and 21. Here I have passed. So it's doing what? I have not passed any argument. So argument.length is 0. So total turns out as 0. But if the argument length is 2, so if the argument length is calculated, and the loop runs 2 times, and the argument argument of 0 and argument of 1, both are added together. And in the same way here, when we have this one, we have, we can collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arguments. So it calculates that, runs the loop 6 times, 0 to 6, and generates the sum of all the numbers. Can I have a response from everyone? I hope you guys understood that we have discussed, because today I'll just show you the real practical use of these functions. But again, I'll try my best to be as slow as possible. But again, anyhow, if you feel at any point of time that I'm going a bit faster, you just, let me know, and I will definitely be trying to go back. So this was our file for yesterday. What I'll do today, just for nothing, I will come here, and I'm creating another script file, and I'm calling it January 17.js. You know why? Because I want to create a new file for today. January 17. And by the way, we can connect multiple JavaScript files with one, but for no reason, I just don't want to connect it right now. Or maybe I can put this as a comment. And rather than connecting this one, I want to connect to my January 17 file. So /scripts and January 17.js. Make sense, everyone? Now the script file is not working here. January 17.js is working over here. And I'll close the script file for today. And again, to check that one, you remember we have an alert function. Hello from Jan 17. And I will see, okay, hello from Jan 17. It means my file is working. I would highly recommend everyone to check that always, because the file is connected and now I can work on this file. So today I'll just give you some practice of functions, because unless you do practice, you will not be functions and their types. So we'll be talking about some of the practice of the functions. We'll see some of the practice of the function and how we'll do practice. It's just like the same as you do with the on Monday practice questions. I'll take one practice question and we'll try to solve that by using the different shapes of functions that we have talked about, right? So I'll just give you how would you use that. Like, for example, sometimes we'll be using function declaration syntax, sometimes we'll be using expression, sometimes we'll be using arrow function. So I would like to show all of you to that. Let's take one question and let's try to solve some of the questions. So for example, let's write a function. And let me make it word wrap here. Let's write a function that does what? Let's start with some of the basics and then we'll just move forward. To create a JavaScript library name generator. I'll write the question with you. So for example, if I pass generate name and I pass, for example, Keen, it should return Keen.js. It makes sense, everyone? I will try to write a function and I'll write this question to your chat just for Savannah. I hope you're back. Your system is now working fine. Just confirming if you are back or not, because I hope that everything is working fine for you now. So I put the question over here. Let's write a function to create a JavaScript library name generator that would do what? That would just generate, that will pass something to this one. And it will, for example, if I pass generate name Keen, it should return Keen.js. Can I have a thumbs up from everyone? You understand what type of question we are starting to solve? We are trying to solve over here. That will write a function that will generate name and it will accept Keen and will return Keen.js. And hopefully that will give you. So let's write the first form, which was function declaration. I'll write the function declaration form of this function first of all. Let's write that. So how to write function declaration? We say function and generate name. We'll give a name, generate name, and it will accept a parameter, and I can call it a parameter as a name. Make sense, everyone? So I'm writing a function generate name by using function declaration syntax. That would do what? That would accept a parameter, any name, and it will return it with the .js attached to it. It's a library. It's a JavaScript library name generator. It will, whatever I'll pass it, it will convert it to the JavaScript name. Make sense, everyone? So let's do that. So this function will do what? Simply, it will return name plus a dot attached to it, or not, or a dot JS attached to it. You guys understand that one? Very simple. I've started with a simple and we'll talk about different shapes of it. So generate name, it will accept a parameter, and whatever parameter has come, it will just concatenate a .js and return that to the calling party. Let's call this function. So console.log, and I say generate name, And if I pass, for example, keen, again, as we have given in the example, if I pass keen, and let's see what it will print out on my output. Kim, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the spacing in the name plus .js. I see some people putting spaces in, some not. Does it matter?
Okay, so Kim, if I understood your question correctly. So Kim, when we are talking about the output of it, the output will produce spaces when we will put some space in inverted commas inside. This name is generally, Kim, a variable only. So it does not really make any difference if I put spaces over here. And I have not put these spaces, Prettier is putting these. Anyhow, I'll let you know. See, Kim, if I just put some spaces in before .js, I put 10 spaces. Yeah. So if I hit save Kim, see what happens. You see keen.js is coming like that. Are you understanding? And inverted commas, really, this is the real thing where yes, Kim, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying there, but that's not what I meant.
Oh.
I meant between name and the plus sign and the plus sign and the quotes.
All right. That's a
Those
wonderful
two spaces. Are they important or no?
Yes, so that's a very good question. And if you see, Glenn has already replied to that. So right now, Kim, these spaces are coming from Prettier. It's not something that I am placing. Rather, it makes really no difference if I put these spaces, even though if I'll save that, Prettier will make it correct. But I'm telling you, there is no difference if I put this something like that. Space is only important for the output purpose when it is inside the inverted commas. Kim, do you make sense? So right now, do you see when I hit save, it really produces one space. Why? Because Prettier is working over here. Prettier wants to make my code prettier because Kim, see that it does not look prettier at all. you understand that, Kim? I hope. Wonderful, wonderful. So right now that's no difference. Okay, thank you. So you guys understand that it's basically doing that. Now, this was function declaration return. Now, how about if I write the same function? Sorry about that. If I write the same function by using function expression. Right? How I'll do that? So you guys remember, let generate name equal to function name curly brackets, the body of the function, return name plus .js. Do you see that there is no difference on the output because I'm just calling exactly the same way? So you see that there is no difference with the output. Why? Because now this is now, but the one thing that we know is that this is now a function expression rather than anything else. Is that right? I can write it another way, just to give you another quick, good understanding. If I say, for example, I want to run and I say let name equal to in, and I console.log and I say name, comma, generate name and pass the name over here, like the name variable, same name variable that I'm passing over here. If I hit save, exactly up. So what it is doing, it is giving me the name as well. This was the value before, like, oh, sorry, what's happening? It's giving me the name over here, and as well as it is giving that after changing what has happened to that one. So name, comma, generate name, print the name as well. The keying is printed and keying.js is printed. So keying.js is coming from this generate name, and this name is coming from this keying. And don't worry about this cross line because name is deprecated and JavaScript does not like that we name our variable as name because it uses it for its own purpose. But anyhow, it's not a problem. It usually works, but it will give you a cross line over there. Can I have a thumbs up from everyone? You guys understanding? Generate name. We have written down this function as an expression, function expression. Now let's try to make it a bit intelligent. So for example, it's the same function, and I'm not writing in the arrow form. I'll write in arrow form the other functions. We'll take one more example. So if I, instead of passing keying, if I pass keying dot, keying and a period. Now see what will happen. It will look a bit weird. You see that it is saying keying.js. So I want to make my function a bit intelligent over here. Are you guys getting that one? because the string that is coming, it's already coming up with a dot. So it means I need to do something intelligent in my function so that if the string that is coming, if it is already I'm sorry about that. Excuse me. Okay, so let's try to make this function a bit more intelligent. And for your ease, for understanding, I'm just writing this function yet again to just give you a same function it would be, but I want to write it some intelligent thing. Now see here, what I'll do, I'll say if, and now here comes a very important point. I'm using one of the string related function that I'll discuss a lot in coming classes, but I'm just giving you a quick hint over here. There is a function with any string, which is name right now, the parameter. If I say ends with is a function that checks if a string ends with a particular character. If name dot ends with dot like period, I will say return name plus only JS. I hope you guys are understanding that one. Else I would say return name plus .js. Now see here, if I have k in dot, you see that it's still giving one parameter and it says that it already had the dot. So again, my program intelligently is just adding, not adding the add, rather just returning JS to that one. So my program has become a bit intelligent. Just remember ends with is a function, like there are so many functions, I will be using them, but don't worry about that. Right now, just understand, okay, that name dot ends with, if it ends with, it means it will generate a true or a false. If it generates true, just return JS. If it does not return, so again, if I pass key in only, and I hit save, see here what will happen. Key in and I'm still getting the right output. I could see Glenn has given a thumbs up. Everyone is good with it? Are you guys understanding? This is now a bit of intelligent program which is checking that whether if a string is ending. So if I can pass any string to it, not key in. For example, if I say ABC, it will return abc.js. If I say abc dot, so I'll return that and it just gives abc.js. That's a cool thing to do. Are you guys getting that one? Now let's try to make it more intelligent, or try to make it like, try to shorten down our code. If we have only one if and else, you know that if this condition is true, it will return. Return means, you remember I told you yesterday, return means it returns the control back to over here. So it means whatever is there, it will just throw that out and it will go back. So I feel that even if in this condition, if I take away the else from here and the body of else over here as well, do you guys understand? It will work fine. Why? Because if this condition is true, it will be returned from here and this statement is unreachable. It will never be reached. But if this condition is false, any case, it will fall down to this one. Are you guys understanding? If I have only one if and else, why not let's do that? Not even if I just take out the else. So it really depends upon the situation. You need an else or not. Can I get a response from everyone? Are you guys getting that one? So if it will, okay, that's wonderful. You guys understand that? It's basically something like that. Even let's more like make it more and more, intelligent. Let's make it more and more intelligent. And I'll write another version of this program. Control C, comment this out, and I'll show you something. Rather than writing this if else, do you guys remember the one-liner if else? Anyone remember one-liner if else? I will say, see here, I'll say return name dot ends with a dot question mark JS colon dot JS. I would be happy, first of all, to understand how many of you understood that. This program will exactly be the same. Okay. Oh, sorry. Not JS, sorry. Name plus JS or name plus dot JS. Now see here, how many of you understood this one now? Let's run that one again. So So everyone remembers that ternary operator. So condition name dot ends with dot name.js or name dot name plus dot .js. I hope you guys are with me and understanding this all. Kim, can I ask you again? Like again, just for understanding, I'm asking if you got the point. Condition comes first of all, and then I told you that I'll be using this operator a lot of time. Yes, Kim, go ahead.
I understood it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Whenever you have a problem or if you feel my speed is going again fast, please let me know, right? Now, just let's talk about this one. So this looks like very nice. This looks like only a single line of function, and it's exactly doing what it is required to do. So if I just pass something to it, if there is a dot, it does not changes that. If there is no dot, if it changes that, and it just always gives me abc.js, the name of the file. So it's a library name generator. Is that making sense to everyone? Now let's move forward. And I'll park this question for a second. Like, we have done first question. And this was the question that I marked you. Like, this was the question that we have used. And we have done this by expression and that one. And I'll just, make the arrow function as well for the next questions. But right now, I'm just leaving that one. OK, now let's make another question. We are doing the practice next practice question for over here. So for example, a function, let's write a function to check if a number is between two other numbers being inclusive. I'll write the function to you guys, question to you guys, don't worry. If the final argument is true. So check between will be a function that will check, for example, if I pass a value 12, 1, 20, true, should return true and check between 21, 1, 20, true should return false. Okay, I'll first of all write this question to you guys. Now, let's read this question and try to understand the problem. A function to check if a number is between two other numbers being inclusive if the final argument is true. Like we'll provide a number. So again, we have to check that 12, check that whether number 12 is between 1 and 20 exclusive. If true is given, like again, we have to make inclusive if a final argument is true. So if final argument is false, it should not check the inclusive one. Are you guys getting that one? So it's basically, question is check 12 if it lies between 1 and 20, and true means inclusive. 1 and 20 both are also checked. Are you guys getting that one? It's a bit of a trickier thing that we want to do, or let's make it very first of all simple, and then I'll talk about this one. And I'll just take this away for a second. You know what I mean? I've changed the question, and I'll come to this question again. Don't worry, I'll come to this question again, but for that next part. First, I want to just give you something interesting. So I've changed the question for a bit, and I've taken away the true because I want to make it a simple one, and then we'll just talk about it. So I've changed this question to this one. So function, if a number is between two other numbers, check between 12 and 1. So now we can right now. We have a liberty, we check. So we have to check that 12 is in between 1 and 20 should return true because 12 is in between 1 and 20. While as 21 is not between 1 and 20 should return a false. Did you guys get the question? I'll just change it a bit because I'll make it to that one. But first of all, let's make it a simple one. Did you understand the question? I have to check the first number, whether it is in between these two numbers or not. If it is in between two numbers, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return a false. So let's start writing this function. And again, I'll start with the function declaration, but then I'll write an arrow function maybe of it. So function check between. So first of all, I'll say, OK, there will be a one value that will be provided. There will be a value which will be low value. There will be a value that would be high value. Are you guys getting that one? So I'm saying this will be the value that has to be checked. This is the lowest and this is the highest. So like range is low and high and value is the value that I want to use over here. Makes sense, everyone? Now let's write it. Write it in a like, first of all, let's write it like this. If value is greater than low, right? And do you guys remember the and sign? Return true. OK, remember, I don't need, because I'm just writing a very simple function. I don't need an else because it will always typically fall down to this one, right? Return false. Right? So if value is greater than low and value is less than high, return true, otherwise return false. Let's print that one. Console.log. And I say check between, and let's take the same example that we have put in the question, 12, 1, 20. Let's check that one. You guys see that 12 is in between 1 and 20. So it says true because value is greater than low, which is above 1, and less than high. Both conditions are true. So it is generating a true over here. Yes, everyone. And if I want to check it the other way around, let's make it 21 rather than 20 or anything above 20. If I check that one, you'll see that second line just produces false. Right. And right now, because we have not been told anything, if I just come over here and I put an equal to over here and equal to over here, it will make it inclusive as well. You know what I mean? So for example, if I check, OK, even before doing that, if I show you, if I do not do that, it's not inclusive right now, right? You know what I mean? It's not right now, not inclusive. For example, if I say 20, so even though 20 comes between 1 and 20, because there is no exclusive, there is no equal to. If I hit save, you will see it is generating false. And if I check the 1, it will again generate a false. Why? Because it is exclusive. It says greater than low. It is not equal to. Are you guys getting that one? And if I just do that, equal to over here and equal to over here, now they should be now both true because they are not inclusive. 20 between 1 and 20. Make sense, everyone? And now, so now let's so again, right now we are making an inclusive program. It is inclusive, right? And other numbers, and I will write it here. Inclusive also. Now let's talk about the previous question, which was it will be inclusive if the true is there. So it means again we have to make some amendments to this one. So I'll come over here and I'll say this is 2B. I'll call it 2B, right? Because now we have another version of it, 2B. And let's call it 2A. 2A, right? So we have two versions of program 2. Make sense, everyone? And now let's make it this one. So now my function will look like how my function will look like. See here, I'll say function value low, high, and inclusive. Right? Why? See what it is saying. A function to check if a number is between two other numbers being inclusive if the final argument is true. If the final argument is true, then it should be inclusive. And if the final number is not true, it should not be inclusive. Are you? Oh, I forgot to give it a name. Sorry. Are you guys understanding this one? Check between, and let's call it inclusive, right? Check between inclusive. I just made the different name of the function, right? And I'll talk it over here. Inclusive. Not inclusive. Rather, we are just checking that inclusive, or rather, I'll just call it same function. You know why? Because I'll just comment that out. I've commented that out. So now it is to be inclusive. Now here comes a very, very important concept. Very, very important concept. You know that if I write, for example, if I write if inclusive equal true. Are you guys getting that one? Return value is greater than or equal to low and value is less than or equal to high. Return, again, fall down to return. Return value is greater than low and value is less than high. How many of you guys understood this one? Now I have another one that will indicate it's a sort of a switch that I'm passing to function. If I pass a true, you just do what? You include inclusive, do the inclusive thing. And if I don't pass true, you do the exclusive thing. Are you guys getting that one? So let's call this function console.log, and I say check between, and I pass, for example, 12, again the same value, between 120, true. Okay, I'm checking 12. Why not let's check 1 or 12 or 20? Because, you know, I want to check the inclusiveness. So if I pass a true, it says true. Make sense, everyone? And if I pass this same one with false, if I pass the same one as false, do you guys see that false? Alex, do you understand that one? I hope you are enjoying this, these little tweakings of the program, these little important things, because I'm about to tell you something very, very interesting, important about this one. I would be happy to have feedback from most of you guys, because, you know, I feel that you're understanding this. If inclusive equals true, then, but there is a bug, a small bug in this program. I'll talk about that bug. But first of all, I would like to make sure that everyone is with me and they are understanding these practice questions that I'm doing with you guys. That's wonderful, Jonah. I can see Jonathan, Jonah, Brandon, they all are giving thumbs up. I'm really happy to see that you guys are getting the concept. And again, I'm reminding. Which is setting a low value, a high value, an inclusive parameter. If inclusive equals true, then then it will just make it inclusive, and otherwise it will make it exclusive, like, you know, something like that. Now here is a catch, and here is a very interesting concept. If I make it comment, and if I call it, of course, it gives true because it's making inclusive one. What if I don't pass a parameter over here? If I don't pass a parameter over here, and let's do that, and let's check that. So you see, it gives false. But do you guys understand that if we don't pass this fourth parameter, can anyone tell me what is passed if I don't pass this true or a false over here? If I don't pass this true or a false over here, what actually goes into it? What actually goes into it? It's a very important question. Undefined. Alex is very right. If you don't pass anything, it goes as undefined. And, you know, here it is showing maybe the right behavior or maybe not the right behavior, because I wanted to say that it has to check for the true or a false, like inclusive or not inclusive. Right now it is showing which behavior? It is showing exclusive behavior. So it's falling down to this one. Condition is not becoming true. Are you guys getting that one? So now listen about this very, very important thing. In JavaScript, there is a concept which is called truthy or falsy values. Rather than true or false, there is a concept of truthy and falsy. You might have not heard about this term. Truthy and falsy are I'll just explain that concept a little bit in a detail in the coming classes as well. But right now, just understand. Rather than writing inclusive equals true, if I just come over here and I say just if inclusive, So you see, if inclusive means if inclusive has been given any value, be it true or be it false, you have to do this, like you have to run. It will be the value. If the value is not there, just don't worry about that. This is called truthiness of a value. I'm not saying it's equals true. Whatever is the value. If inclusive is being defined, just do this thing. And if inclusive is not defined, just fall down to this one. Now, very important concept. Now, by all means, if it is undefined, this undefined means that it will never come to this one, and it will always find inclusive as undefined. Did you guys get the concept what I'm trying to say over here? If I make it equal true, it means necessarily it has to be a true or a false value. But if I say inclusive only, it means it is checking if inclusive is there, then you do this, otherwise do this. So in the same way, if I just, maybe it does not make any effect on the output, but do you guys understand what does that mean? If I pass a true over here, it is now giving it true because now this line is executing. And if I pass a false over here, now it is generating the false. Of course, it is coming over here. But do you know that inclusive has been given a value over here? It's not, right now it's basically it's accepting a value and we don't even need to check that one. And this is called truthiness of a value. Truthiness of a value. Are you guys getting that one? So that's a very, very important, concept. And what if I want to change, this program into, for example, in more simplified form, what I'll do, I will just, do that. I'll comment it out. And again, I'll do that exactly the same here. So I'll say inclusive. Again, the truthiness of inclusive, question mark. So again, sorry, I'll start with the return inclusive, question mark, value is greater than or equal to low, and value is less than or equal to high, colon, value is greater than low, and value is less than high. Now you see that. It's exactly the same. If it is false, it is not marking it. If I just make it true, it will mark it true. You see that? I just tried to write that in a one line. So it's I told you that I will be using this period operator a lot of time. Right? Interesting practice, isn't that? I hope you guys are getting practice. To make it an arrow function like of this one, same exactly the arrow function. So what I'll do is that I'll just write down not function. I'll say let check between, and let's call it 1 again. I want to keep that one as well. So I'll just write here value low, high, inclusive, and I'll put this one. And since I have only one return statement, I'll write that statement inclusive, question mark, value greater than equal to low, and value less than equal to high, colon, value greater than low, and value less than high. You guys understand? Now this has become an arrow function. So again, a simple single line of it. Oh, sorry, I've not called that one. Check 1. I'll have to just check that one. Check 1. So if it is true, it is returning a true. If I say false, it will return a false. Can I have everyone just, show me a bit of maybe action here that you guys understanding that one? So we have just, let's take one more question. And I hope you are enjoying this practice which we are doing. And let's do another practice question. And this will be more interesting. So The question is, let's type out the question. Question number 3 for us is a function to log all arguments larger than 255. So I have to write a function that prints all the arguments that are above 255. Let's write the function. How it will work: show outside byte range. This is called byte range, and you can show outside, just show outside 1,5, 123, 250, 233, 266, 267, something like that. So if I pass these values, should log 266 and 267 on the output. You guys got it? I'll just copy and paste this for you. Are you guys understanding? A function to log all arguments larger than 255. So above 255 or the arguments. So I pass these arguments 1, 5, 20, 123, 233, 266, 267. Out of these, only these two are the bigger. So again, for example, if I write 1000 over here, so it prints out 1000 also, you know. So anything less above that, above 255 should be printed out. Right. So let's start writing this function. So now let's come back. And again, I'll start this with function expression, for example, show outside. Let's write a function equal to. So function expression I'm writing. Let show outside is equal to function. Now see here. For let I equal to 0, I less than arguments dot length. Does anyone remember what is arguments dot length? We have already talked about that. And I plus plus. Argument dot length. Whatever arguments have been passed, calculate the length of it and run that many times from 0. Are you guys understanding that one? The same example that we did yesterday, last time. Arguments dot length. Remember everyone? We were counting the and we were running the loop like this. So I'm running the loop for all the arguments because I have to print only those arguments which are greater than the value. So let's do one more thing. Let value equal to arguments of I. So store arguments of I in the value. If value is greater than 255, console.log value. Are you guys getting that one? I'm just directly calling console.log. It means I don't have to call the console.log over here. So show outside is a function that will accept any number of arguments. We don't know how many arguments it will receive. And it will calculate the length, run the loop that many times, store every value in value, and check if that value is greater than 255. It will print that out. First with this one. Show out 5, 123, 233, 267, 266. Let's see. 1266, 267. Are you guys getting that one? So if I just take away the 1000 and I make it 100, for example, so it will be only 260 to 267. If I make some value greater than 255, it will always check that one and print those values over here. Oh, that's a wonderful thing. Riley, thank you very much for that one. Okay, so that's basically what 105, 123, 233, 334, and 266, 267, and now this will be. So whatever argument we pass. So for example, if I pass only one argument and I say it's 1, for example, for the second call, it will not print anything at all because there is no value over there. But if I say 133, 34, I'm passing only one argument, it's greater than that one. And if I pass two arguments, whatever, 245, 266, something like that. So it will just, generate all those arguments over here. Is that making sense to everyone? Because I'm about to tell you some some very interesting fact about this arguments.length, which I did not discuss yesterday, but I'll discuss it today because you will definitely are gonna like it. In the same way as we have an arguments available to every function, we have something else as well. It's called expansion or expand operator. Expand operator for values. And the expand operator is typically 3 dots. What does that mean? See here. I'll just leave that one. So in a function where we know that there might be multiple values or multiple arrays will be received by that function, we do a very interesting thing that is called, we usually do that dot. So if I call it values, it means we are talking, this is called expand operator, expand operator. I'll talk about that one more detail, but I'm just giving you a quick hint over here. So it means dot means there will be a lots of values come. We don't know how many values are there, but rather than using the arguments, you can use this name now to give the values any name. What does that mean? If I have given that one, it means now I won't be using arguments. Rather, I will say, okay, what are the values.length? Whatever is the values are coming, I don't know. Dot means expand all those. If it is 1, if it is 1,000, expand all of them. Values.length, and not only that, I will say values of I. Take out values of I. And it's exactly the same. How many of you understood that? Rather than using the argument, which is again available to a function, we can use that. We use this expand operator. This expand operator expands anything that has been passed. So again, if I pass no parameters, the values has 0 value. If I have, for example, 2, 3. So 3 times my loop will execute, but I won't get anything over here. Why? Because there is no value bigger than that one. If I give one value bigger than that one, my loop will execute and it will just keep on checking that one. I hope you guys understood. So dot, this is very important, and I'll be using this a lot of time. Dot operator. Dot, and we can just give any name over here, and that will become the name of the values that are coming from the back. So dot values, whatever values are coming, calculate the length of that and store each value in values of from the values of I. Like each value should be stored in value variable, and then check this value variable with 255 or something, and whatever you can just check that one, and it just does that one. Is that making sense? And by the way, just to make another shape of this program, I'll just make another shape of this program. Sorry. And I'll show you. I'm making the same program, show outside equal to expression function. It's expression function, right? And what I did, I did dot values. Even before dot values, I can pass some of the known variables as well. For example, I say low, high. For example, low, comma, high, comma, dot values. What does that mean? Oh, yes. So it's the function is not being defined over here. Okay, so now if you see here, low, high, and dot values. What does that mean? I'm saying that there are 2 variables that you recognize with the name of low and high, and then there will be multiple values followed by them. So for example, I want to say, I'll just show you. I want to say show outside 1, 100. So check the rest of the values are between 1 and 100 or not. You know what I mean? 1 and 100. So rest of the values. So for example, I say 5, -3, 121, 200, 1, 55, 50 something. Are you guys understanding that one? So what I'm saying, actually, I'm saying between these 2 values, low and high, between these 2 values, check whether these values are in between them or not. Are you guys getting that one? Can anyone try that program out? Now, let's try that one together, and I'll give you some questions later on. So see, for, again, let I equal to 0, I less than values.length. Again, I will run through the values.length, not the length of low and high. You know what I mean? So I'll say I plus plus, and I'll write it over here, and I'll say let value equal to values of I. So again, each value should be stored in value. And now see here, what I can say. I can say, for example, return, right? I'm just doing the return over here. return value is less than low, or sorry, or the pipe sign value is greater than high. Question mark. So if it is that one, you just do what? For example, if it is less than low and greater than high. For example, I'm saying that return the value, otherwise return false. Okay, did I make any problem in this condition? Value is less. Oh, value is less than low. I maybe I made the other way around. Maybe value is greater than low and less than high. So I put the condition the other way around. Okay. So it is. So it is providing the values. I am not just printing that one. So console. I'll have to console that one because last time I was doing the console, or rather I can do that. Don't worry. I can do that. I can say console.log, and I want to say, for example, yes, so I'll say that console.log this one. Oh, not question mark over here. Question mark should be here. Oh, okay. The pipe is or yes, the pipe is or. Just don't worry about that one. So okay, let's make it the same way that it was, and I'll just call it. So value is greater than high. If that is the case, oh sorry, if that is the case, return value by itself. Otherwise, return false. So I'll just here it will just show some falses over here as well, and we can just handle that later on. Console.log show, and now see that. Let's see. It says 5 only because I have. So you see that only 5 is in between those two values. No, there is 1 and 50 as well. So why it is just not going to that one? Okay, let's for the simplicity's sake, right now I'll just make that one. And again, yes, Glenn, I'll come to that one as well. Don't worry about that one. Value is, for example, greater than low, or value is less than high. If it is greater than low and less than high, just do what? Console.log value. Just let's check that one. So you see here now. Okay. So the value is greater than. So again, it should take the low value and it should check before the low value. And now here it is just giving above all the values. Oh, why? Because I'm just doing this ORing. That's my bad. I was doing the ORing over there. So, okay. So if you see that 5 and 50 are the only values which are greater than low and high, like, and less than high. So they are just printing it out. So 200 and these all values will be given over there. So if I just make it 12, I make it 20, something like that. So all those values will appear over here. But now the concept that I wanted to tell you, I wasn't discussing about this one. I was discussing about low and high. So you see that low and high, I can use this low and high over here and the values, the rest of the values. So it just takes low as 1 and high as 100 and just take the rest of the values as the dot values. Okay, Isaac, no problem, not a problem. Make sense, everyone? I'll continue from this point onward and we'll just, write maybe some more program. I hope this was a good practice. Oh, Kim, I can just slow down, no problems, Kim. What you want to know right now, Kim? I can make you understand again. Just can you unmute yourself and let me know?
I'm currently lost, so I don't even know what I'm missing. But you changed the last let's show outside. You changed all what was below that before I had it written. So now it's all changed and I have no idea where I am.
Okay, Kim, I'll be with you. Just don't worry about that. Kim, see here. Kim, do you understand that much that we have now 2 parameters that we have named and we can access them with the name, and we are calling rest of the parameters as the expand operator rest of the values.
Noman, I can't even listen to you right now. I'm that frustrated. I'm sorry. I'm just done.
Oh, it's going on. All right. Okay, so anyone else having a question? Like, So what I did was that I said that this low and high are two values, which can be accessed by with their name. And this dot 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 values is typically what? It's actually the rest of the values. So again, 1 and 100, they are low and high, and we are checking with them. Otherwise, 5, -3, 12, 1, 21, and 50, they become all the values over there. Does that make sense to everyone? I'm just trying to maybe going a bit slow. So for let I is equal to 0, I less than values dot length I plus plus. We are calculating every value, catching every value in the value. And now we are checking that if it is greater than low and it's less than high, it basically do what? Just go and console that value. And we see that in 1 and 100, so it becomes a range. 1 becomes the lower range and 100 becomes the higher range. In between these two ranges, whatever value will fall on from this one, this will be printed out. So you see that 5, 12, 20, and 50. They are printed out, and that is just giving a undefined. We'll just talk about that one. But you see that it is typically giving between these two values. So I was telling you that expand operator can expand all the values that are coming, again, starting from this point 5 to 50. And then these two variables can handle these two, any of the other values that you can just recognize. So first two values would be recognized with the name, rest of the values would be recognized with the values. Right. So still, if you still have any question, no, not a problem. You can just, you guys can discuss it or maybe ask later on, and I'll be happy to just help you out whenever you are, when you want to have that. So having said that, I'll be just stopping here, and I have made this January 17.js file today. So I'll share this. If you have any questions, you can just go ahead and ask. And I'll go to general files. And programming lecture course. This is week 3 we are working on, and in scripts, I'll just upload the script of today. And the script for today is basically the January 17 script that we have written down today. So the script is there, right? So let me know if you are having any issues accessing that one or any problem. I'll be happy to help you guys out. So thank you very much, everyone. And if you don't have any question, enjoy your day, and see you tomorrow. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you very much.